Hello, everyone. Dr. Allen here. Hope you had a great week one. And two things. Most importantly, it was great reading everyone's intros on the discussion board, getting a little bit of background where everyone's coming from. Two, I will apologize. I'm fighting a little bit of a chest cold. So if I look a little, or if I start to cough a little bit, I'll try to pause the video. But if I'm drinking some water and all, bear with me a little bit. Um, Three, I want to give a quick apology. I think I sent some stuff out. I know I did, but under the welcome up here, I know. Thank you to those of you. I think two people had emailed me. Under the start here, the first video was actually it was a 500 video. It's when they rolled the shell over. I don't usually do a video there too often anymore, and it must have picked it up, and we must have clicked the button. So I appreciate that. We missed that totally. But the video that was under week one was the exact video, so that was awesome. And if you started there, you shouldn't have any problems. I think it was on the announcement, but the other one was there, so I apologize if that caused any confusion. But thank you all. I think there were people on Monday that were right on it, and I think we got it all. So much appreciated. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into week two. As I said, I'll try to keep these videos somewhat short because they're just kind of an overview of what we're going to be doing for the week. I do have some videos already up with the content for week two, but let me highlight it. And I do want to talk about an assignment that's coming up. So if you go to week two, we're going to talk about standards and testing, mapping and examining content, vertical and horizontal alignment, and the Linda Darling Hammond's video. I say video, but chapter three. It's basically kind of about politicalization and money and things like that. Follow the money is kind of, I think, what I had titled it. The reading is chapter three. If you haven't gotten up there yet, make sure you have one and two read. It'll help with the discussion board just a little bit. And the assignments this week are you're going to view your videos, review the materials. Discussion two is the only thing that's officially due this week. I'm going to go ahead and go over the curriculum and mapping exercise. So if you want to go ahead and start that and get that submitted, that is no problem. I actually have it under week two. I will also have it under week three because it's not technically due until the 14th. So with that being said, let me go through this list. I'll talk about the assignments and try to keep this video somewhat normal. Week two video is going to be this video, so you're watching it right now, but if you need it, it's there. This week's lecture video is right here. It's about 7 minutes. It's incorporating vertical and horizontal alignment, a little bit on flat world education, and talks about curriculum mapping. I actually like this. I have notes and I'll show them where they are, but it's a pretty succinct video. I think it does cover everything in about 7 minutes. I have some stuff for a little more detail if you are interested. And I might go ahead and throw a couple of YouTube videos up by the time this video goes out, just in case you want a little more depth. I think this video does a pretty nice job, though. If you do need it and you don't want to watch the video and you'd rather just read, which is fine by me, it's the same information. Here is my notes that I used to create the video. And you're welcome to kind of check out everything. It's got curriculum mapping and the vertical alignment and things like that. That's kind of a briefing document, so to speak. And if you need any more information, I'm just going to start putting up something called podcast and PowerPoints. The PowerPoints for all three are up if you need them, and as you can see. And they go into a little more detail in terms of what the video talks about this, but if you want a little more extra oomph, it's there. And I will have them. I haven't posted them up. I'm recording this on Saturday when I just was watching the WVU game finish. I'll have the podcast right underneath so you can kind of get this information in a verbal form. You are not required to listen to the podcast. The lecture I would definitely listen to. The podcasts are there to help. And the podcast will have the information that is in the PowerPoint, but I know some people would probably prefer to listen to it instead of read it or do both. So which works for me. The discussion board, which I'm going to actually pop up here, is the main thing that is due this week. And it's moving very slow as I was dragging it. I think my computer is dying. I've been recording a lot today. But basically, you're going to go ahead and answer this discussion board. It's, again, related to the readings, but much of the early part of the readings revolve around resources, fairness and spending, quality teachers, and general inequalities in schools, especially in those in lower socioeconomic areas. In today's hyper-political world, how do you think we should approach these issues? And also, I did add this on. what do you think these effects are to curriculum in schools? So again, 200 words, you can go over that, but just kind of, again, I don't judge on the opinions, just fire it out there. What do you think? This is a graduate course, so hopefully you have some ideas. Sure, some of you have some experiences or have heard some things in schools. Feel free to share, post, good to go. The last thing this week, after you've watched this week's video or this week's lecture, which is right here, and you've checked out any other additional resources that you need, like I say, the documents here, if you need something to refer back to from the lecture, power podcasts and PowerPoints are up. You're going to do a curriculum mapping. This one could come back and bite me because I've been trying to like figure out. I thought I wanted something with us being a 7-week class where I don't want you all to just feel like you're just pumping out writing like continuously, but we also need to look at this stuff. So I tried to get something a little creative. This was something I saw at a conference this summer, and I'm trying to like tweak it a little bit to make work for this class, but I've been doing it today. So I'm going to show you how I've done it. I'm going to screenshot these so you know how to answer the questions, ask the questions, and then answer the questions that I provide on the assignment. So with all that wordiness, let me just go ahead and tell you what you're going to do. I'm going to click this. It is up. Again, this is not due until the 14th. So if you have questions beforehand, feel free to contact. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a standard, a state standard. I have put the West Virginia state standards up there in case you need them. It's the Berkeley County link, and you can have to go through. You can also Google them or whatever. I don't care what state standards you use. If you are in Maryland and you want to use Maryland standards, if you're in Pennsylvania, Virginia, that's fine. But you're going to take a state standard, or more specifically, a few state standards. And I'll show you how I actually ask the question on Google. You're going to take that standard or standards, and we're going to use an AI engine. I used Google Gemini just because it was a Google and I went up. You're going to ask it the curriculum map the standards, and then we're going to break it down. So as we go through, there's certain things, and like I say, the directions are all here, but you're going to go through, and hopefully your curriculum mapping is going to have all these things that the lecture talks about and all the things that the video talks about in the PowerPoints and such. But basically, the long and short of it is you need to have some sort of guiding question. You need to have a title, obviously. You need to have learning objectives. You need to have instructional activities. You need to have some form of assessment, both formative and summative. And that needs to be in your curriculum mapping. But don't worry, you're going to ask AI to do this. Then you're going to, and I'll again show you the example that I have. You're going to go, and after doing all this, you're going to look at what AI, how it's mapped this. I asked mine to chart it, and I'll show you again what I meant by that. Then you're going to answer these questions. Like, how do you think the alignment is? Is it important? You can actually just flat out say, is it good? How were they aligned? Did they make sense? You're going to note the objectives. Do you think they were good objectives, bad objectives? Did you notice any gaps or any redundancies, unnecessary repetition in it? And in your own words, what do you think the values of curriculum mapping in general are? And you can actually put on here, I don't know if you think AI would be beneficial to this or not. I know a lot of schools are starting to use AI to do this. So I thought it would be interesting to look at this. But the big thing is you need to do the AI question answering I do, again, use Gemini, but you can use ChatGPT, you can use Copilot, whatever. And then you're going to end up answering these questions. Again, I'll screenshot all this so you have it, so you don't have to wonder what I'm actually asking you to ask. You can reword the questions to how you think. Some people are stronger at AI, I'm sure, than I am in terms of what it's asking. The main thing you have to turn in is this reflection, and you also have to turn in a screenshot of the AI, or you can just copy it and put it on a doc of the questions you asked. More specifically, the chart of the curriculum mapping it did. So you're probably saying, what the heck are you talking about? Okay, let me show you. All right, this is what I actually came up with. But as you can see, I'm going to start right here. I went to Google Gemini. You might need a Google account to do it. Actually, you don't, but if you want one, that's fine. I actually asked AI to provide a curriculum map of the West Virginia Social Studies standards for ninth grade. And actually what it gave me was this, and you can see it gave me a word, but it gave me a bunch of stuff first. And let me just hit this. As you can see, I can open that. That's what it gave me. I thought that was pretty okay. But then I was like, I need a little more. So I said, can you provide it in a chart? And of course, it said, of course. So it converted all that into a chart. And that's the chart that it gave me, curriculum map. And as you can see, it has the unit. It has key concepts. It has the objectives. It has formative and summative assessments. But when I first did it, the chart did not have formative and summative assessments. So I asked it to add that. So you can ask it to do anything that you want in terms of the chart itself. So for example, you see it gave me this, but can you add a guiding question to the map for each unit? Let's see if it'll do it. Excellent addition, and you see it's adding it. That's my curriculum mapping. What I want you to do is ask it to do these questions, and then I want you to kind of go look at this. And then what you're going to turn in is this. You can screenshot it, you can download it, you can do whatever, share and export. As you can see, you can just click that and export the docs and submit the doc. That's fine. But this is what I want you to look at. And I want you to answer these reflection questions. So again, let's just do this. I'll show you again. We're going to ask it to create a curriculum map of I said ninth grade, didn't I? And of course, I misspelled curriculum of the 7th grade West Virginia Social Studies standards. And you'll see that it's adding some stuff. Give any spelling errors on there. Okay, so it's got some. It actually kept it in a chart for me this time, which is nice. And you can see it already used what I had asked it to do, and it broke it down. And that's it. I will screenshot all of this and make sure it's up there for questions, but basically you want to make sure that your AI, and if you need help with this, just contact me. But it doesn't have to match mine. As long as the unit, the guiding question, the key concept, the learning objectives, the formative assessment, and the summative assessment is in there for the standards, that's fine. But I'd like you to just kind of break it down and review it. And if you don't like how it does it, again, I don't have any stock in any of these AI things. So please feel free to poo-poo it. It's a little outside the box, I know. Just trying to do some things just to see what's out there, so to speak. And just, and again, being a 7-week class, I thought this might, instead of having you all create a huge curriculum map and then reflect on it, let's generate one and then actually review it, because this is what schools are starting to do a little more, or at least I think some, as far from what I've been reading. Maybe not locally, but I know nationally some schools are starting to do things like this and then kind of work from the framework that's given. If that made any sense. Again, I will screenshot these. I will show this. I'm actually going to share and export this right now. So I have that, and I will post that copy up. So it's loading it and saving it and everything for me. As you can see, this is the doc that it's going to give me. And there it is. I know that was a mouthful. I will always be available for questions if you need it, but I will screenshot those questions and give a little more directions to it if need be. So with that being said, that's kind of the overview. This assignment is not due, the mapping, until the 14th. The only thing that's due on the 7th is discussion 2. So if you need a little more time or need me to clarify anything, feel free. Or if you do it and you want me to check it beforehand, I'm not even opposed to that. So reach out to me, but please make sure before you do anything to check out this week's lecture and PowerPoint, podcast, anything like that, to kind of help you get a little bit of background on this, and with the vertical and horizontal alignment. And you can actually talk about whether you think this actually has any type of alignment to it. Again, 250 to 500 words in terms of the questions, and you're going to turn in the chart, and you're going to turn in your questions, and that should do it. So I hope that helps. Hope everything's going smooth for everyone. And again, contact if you have any questions with this, because I know it's a little bit of a unique exercise. It's the first time I've done it, but I think it might be kind of fun to check out. And again, you can use any type of AI type question thing engine that you find. So, or you're comfortable with. Like I say, I use Google Gemini. So I'll talk to everyone later, and I hope you have a good week. And thanks for bearing with me with my cold and all that. So.